Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Anvil App Works. Their Dealer Connect CRMI app with integrated inventory management is an affordable Salesforce-based solution for your dealership. Create connected customer experiences and transform how you work. So I am honored to have these guys on here. So Jason Holt, guy I know, worked with him in the past. He got out on his own, started his own company called Anvil App Works. And I will say the one thing I am of anything when it comes to people that come and talk to me about different things that they're doing and they want to get on the podcast, this, that, and other thing. I'm very skeptical about that. I want to make sure there's someone that they're bringing value to the community here. And Jason showed me what he's had, and I'll tell you what, it was something that I thought it's going to change the way, especially used equipment guys look at how they do business. So, Jason, man, thanks for partnering up here at the Moving Iron Podcast, and tell me a little bit about what you got going on, man.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. It's really been great to work with you. You got a great following, and we're really excited about it. But yeah, we've definitely been on an interesting journey here. In my space, 20, 25 years in the equipment industry, been working for dealers and manufacturers. So seeing a lot of the issues that you're same as your listeners are seeing, inventory management, customers, we're growing, it's harder to manage things across all the locations. So when moved back to Minnesota, I actually started working in Salesforce as a regular consultant and started building really cool stuff on the platform for other people like Sauer Danfoss and H&R Block and Valley Irrigation and those folks. And I kept just thinking about everything that we were building, how I could have used that when I was at the dealership. And it was really lucky we came across a program that Salesforce offered called OEM that allowed us to build a package that used their technology, their platform, but was 100% built, sold, supported by us. And that's what we built. Our flagship product was Anvil Enterprise. We've been selling it now for 5 years into John Deere dealers, and we've got a great following there, and it's growing fast. But this next month at the summit, the Moving Iron Summit, we're going to be launching Dealer Connect CRMI, which is bringing those same great features of customer relationship management and inventory and sales pipeline and out to all dealers of all brands. And that's what we're excited to share with you today.
Yeah, I mean, you showed me a little bit of that, and it was, I guess the easy way to put it was easy, right? You didn't have to go to 47 different places Salesforce is easy, but you've made it easier. So, I mean, hats off to you guys. You've done a great job there, what you're doing there. So tell me a little bit about CRMI and what that is and how that works.
Yeah. Well, the first part is CRM. It's right in the name, but CRM used to be a digital Rolodex and, entering data and logging calls and all that stuff that just really didn't add value. What we did was really looked at what people were using it for and what we were trying to get out of it. And what that really boiled down to was having that single view of the customer. How many times have they been in your dealership? How many times have you quoted them? What are their demographics like? What technology are they using? What's their sales history? All of those things put together is what we call that customer 360. So right on your phone, you're getting ready to call a customer, you're getting ready to do whatever. You have that information all together, and you can access it and have that all in one place. So it just makes it easier. You're not looking for spreadsheets of who signed up for winter inspections last year. Well, I got a spreadsheet someplace of those things. Yeah. Because this was built for equipment dealers, we know those types of things. That's in the CRM. That's just part of it. So I'm really proud of the fact that salespeople want to use it because it delivers to them things they don't know already. Right. It's not a drudgery. I got to enter data from there.
Right. And that's the hardest part, that as well as I do, getting guys to enter stuff into the system when it comes to finding the data that you need to have. They have the data in their head. They just don't want to put it type it out.
That was one thing probably most proud of is when we actually had a dealer tell us that their salespeople came to us and said, we see these other groups using this stuff and we're not signed up to start using it yet. Can you pull us forward? We want to start using it now.
Yeah.
And that's what was like, wow.
Yep. So I guess as you're looking at that, Salesforce is a very prominent, I don't know if CRM is even the right term to use for Salesforce, but it's an all encompassing, dealership thing that you can mold and fit to however you want to. When you're using this right here, how is it working with Salesforce? How's the background of it work? Where's it drawing the information from?
Yeah, I joke that they're kind of one of the worst named companies there is because they do so much more than what that is.
Right.
And that's really the foundation of what we do. It's really the technology platform that has the automation in it, has the
Hmm.
database in it, has the tools in it, the reporting, the analytics that make us possible. And that's where we can focus in on that application that helps it manage inventory, helps you see what's going on in your sales pipeline. So it's a lot like the iPhone. You look at what you actually use on your iPhone, and it's most of it's not from Apple.
Right.
It's the same thing from us.
Yeah.
So even though we're based on the platform, people don't have to go to Salesforce and buy it. They can come straight to us, and it's a one-stop shop. We get the
Sure.
license, we get the platform, we get the customizations. It's really turnkey, which is what our customers see is in a month and a half, they're up and running.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get going, is very fast to get up and get going on it there.
Yep. So the one thing that we're seeing more and more from the dealership perspective is that, these customers that we're dealing with are getting bigger, and more of the transactional based conversation that you're having with these guys is on the farm, right? You're doing it out there. You're going out there. You're seeing them. You're talking with them way more than you are in the store anymore.
Yeah.
The one thing you showed me when you were showing the stuff was the mobile access that you had to go
Yeah.
out and do those kind of things. Talk about that a little bit and the ease of access from either a tablet or a phone or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's what's one thing we benefit from the Salesforce partnership with is they have a tight partnership with Apple and iOS
Hmm.
and Android as well, but they are really good at doing that. So everything that we can do on the browser in the office is accessible on your phone. It's you can see the pictures, you can pull up invoices, you can see their sales history, see what just they called into the call center and had a conversation with. Right there on the phone, powerful search engine on top of it. And then, we use Salesforce Inside, and I'd end up using it on my tablet more than I do the browser
Yeah.
anymore because my iPad just is everything's right there
Hmm.
and it's easy to use and the touchscreen from there. So gone are the days of being shackled to your desk to do anything and be hooked up to the main system and such.
Yeah.
And that's just part of being easy as well. That's what everybody that works at a dealership has that Amazon experience or that
Sure.
Target experience in their head. And when you push the button on the Anvil application that says mark sold, it's easy to do from the phone.
Yeah.
And that's what one of our dealers highlighted is that in today's environment, 3 or 4 minutes or 30 minutes to mark something sold means you might not get it.
Right. Exactly
And
right.
that's where the
Yeah.
phone comes into it.
Yep. And it's funny you bring up the tablet thing. I used to go to the field with the guys and we'd be riding around, do whatever, and I'd have my backpack with the notebook and this. I can't remember the last time I went someplace and just didn't take my iPad. That's all I have with me. 'Cause it's just like you said, it's totally everything I can do in the dealership, I can do on that iPad. And it's, I got the iPad Pro, 12-inch or whatever it is that they
Yep.
have. But, I have the Apple Pencil on my iPad and that's it. I'm checking emails. I'm going through Salesforce. I'm looking these things up, different inventory things. And back to that thing, logging calls. I think that's one of the major
Uh,
these things
The
have gotten
Siri, just
easier,
talk to it.
Yeah, you
Yep.
just let it rip. And that's one thing you're talking about in here is just that ease of tracking that customer information. So talk about that platform and the ease of how you guys are making that work.
The biggest thing is knowing what you already know about that customer.
Right.
And that's what I mean by there's so much activity that relationship covers the service department, the technology department,
Sure.
the parts department, the management team versus the front end team as well. And no, using a CRM is not what's their phone number, what's their email address.
Right.
It's the fact that you have an activity timeline of they called the call center, they interacted with the service department, their work order on their tractor that's in the shop just closed. It's getting the history of that customer's relationship with the dealership
Hmm.
at your fingertips
Right.
so that you're no longer going into driving down the driveway and going to get sideswiped by the fact that the customer's tractor's in the shop. Or when they ask you, when's my new tractor going to show up? And you don't know. Well, let me get out my phone and I'll see the latest information off of that. And I can tell
Hmm.
you when it's going to come into play. And that's what they want to have. That's what the
Right.
customers want to experience is they want to know that wherever they talk to in the dealership, everybody knows that. And it's not a relationship that I just have with my service manager and nobody else knows what it is.
Right.
So that's where the phone happens, but also all the integrations.
Yep.
Talking with work orders being closed, talking to the pipeline system. How many other times have you quoted? I really like the example we've gotten from some dealers that customers will shop around,
Sure.
right? And they pull up that customer and they realize, oh, you just got a quote from my other store over here yesterday for the exact same tractor. Let me make sure I give you the same price.
Yeah.
And working from there. And those are the types of things that Dealer Connect unlocks for you. Is bringing to you those things that you already knew, but were just locked away. They were hard to get at. In the other side of that is how you can use what you've already known to improve the relationship. So we have a lot of dealers that are, automating warranty expiration calls and getting it in before the end of that, or JD Link expirations, or some of the ISG activations that you've got to renew. And just being proactive with those and being alerted when they're about to expire, so that when you're having that call anyways, you can bring in those things that I see your warranty is going to expire in a month, because it's right at your fingertips, instead of letting that go past and, customer not getting the benefit that you can deliver to them.
Sure. Okay. So the word CRM in most places is it's the only 4-letter word out there. So, I mean, as you look at that, what separates your CRM from everybody else's CRM?
Yeah, we definitely start with a CRM.
Right.
You mentioned it before. Salesforce has 5 times the market share in that space than the nearest competitor. So they do it well. So we, check, we've got that part. But what we've been able to do with that information is then unlock all sorts of processes. So if you look at like our order to cash process and how we help dealers manage that sales pipeline through to delivering the equipment, that's all foundational based upon your inventory and your customers.
Sure.
So once we have that customer database, once we have that inventory together, that's when we start to allow you to actually run better, and that's the digital part of our promise. So we've gone through how we consolidate information together, and then we automate some alerts and notifications to you and stuff.
Right.
But the biggest part is actually how we digitize the way you work every day. So instead of filling out some SharePoint form, filling out a paper form, sending an email and knowing exactly who to send it to for the right thing, and then getting yelled at because you didn't fill it out correctly, all that's behind you when you're on here. Because of that fact that we've got wizards built in. So order to cash, the most popular one we have is the trucking request. You fill it out and it's smart enough to know, is this a dealer to customer? Well, I need to fill out this. Or is it customer to customer from into that? We've even got one dealer who has it customized because over a certain size, they need a scout car. And the trucking department was constantly fighting to get that information. And now that it's built into the wizard, they notify, hey, this is a machine that's wider than this. Do you need a scout car for it? Yes or no. And the salesperson doesn't have to think about that. It just asks them that.
Right.
So it's I call it first day easy.
Yeah.
You just got handed your laptop and a set of pickup keys and you stumbled over a sale and you got to process it. You push the button that says mark sold, you push the button that says trucking request, and it just walks you through the rest of it.
Yeah. And
that's what we're really proud of, is that it's easy enough to just do what you got to do from your phone, from that iPad, without having to send emails and manage your inbox or fill out a form or get yelled at by somebody, for not doing it correctly.
Yeah, yelled at. Yeah, it happens.
Training, if the system is intuitive, you don't need trained on it.
Right.
What you're training on a lot of is, all the different steps and nuances when it's so easy that mark sold is the button that says mark sold, and it does walks you through the steps. Training is not that hard. Training for us first day is 30 minutes. 30 minutes in and out, and here's your login, and you're looking up equipment, you're selling stuff.
You can set through a lot of trainings, and you're always going to forget something because it is a multi-step process. I mean, one document, you need this, that, and the other thing. I mean, there's a million things that play into that. All right, so I'm a report junkie. I love pulling reports and love running data. I mean, I love doing all that stuff. So to me, that's, you can't, if you can't manage it, what's that saying? If you can't measure it, you can't manage it, type of thing. So that's how I look at it. Talk a little bit about some reporting functions that you can pull from your platform.
It's really the benefit of being on the same platform that you talked about there. So once once the salesperson has entered the right information and their pipeline is up to date and customers are called on, then having that analytics piece
Sure.
is really what brings it all together. So, when we were working together, half my time was spent pulling spreadsheets and sharing them with you, and let's
Yep.
do another pivot table or bucket these fields together. And then by the time you got 2 hours into it, then you can start looking at it
Right.
and
Yeah.
seeing what the information is.
Right.
I remember one of the guys we worked with, right, every morning was 30 minutes to an hour of just pulling data from different systems to fill in a spreadsheet that then got emailed to all of us.
Yep.
That honestly was out of date before we even received it.
Yep.
Nice guy, but a lot of time spent putting all that together.
Mm-hmm.
With the platform that we have is you build that report once. It's got a really nice drag and drop builder, so you want it grouped. You spend the time to build a report once, just like you do in Excel. But then every time you open that, it recalculates itself, and fast, not like push the button, go get a cup of coffee and come back. It's within a second or two that you get that report ran. And then you start seeing, something simple, inventory by store. Every time you open a report, it recalculates itself and it's up to the minute. If something got sold a few minutes ago, it is
Yep.
no longer in that store inventory.
Yep.
So you think of all the time spent in a dealership preparing spreadsheets, emailing them out to folks, selling off of that spreadsheet, the bargain barn spreadsheet,
Sure.
the special discount sheet or
Yep.
aged inventory sheet. If you just had that in the system that you didn't have to maintain it and email it out, that's what the analytics give you. We have a quote from one of our customers that said, legitimately saves him 6 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then what he does is, because he's used to have 3 screens up of this spreadsheet from this system, I got order
Yep.
information over to here, and I got this. Because it's all in one place, our report says, here's where the inventory is, here's where it's headed, here's the options that are on that machine. Now go, play the shell game and move inventory where it needs to be.
Right.
And that's what we're really proud of, is that time savings, that ROI on those things.
Mm-hmm.
We have reports that have been built once that have ran 2, 3, 4,000 times without being edited after that, because those reports can even appear right in your inbox.
Yeah.
Every morning, trades created yesterday.
Right.
What salesman wouldn't love to have that pop into their inbox automatically that told them, here's all the new stock units yesterday.
Yep.
Here's all the things that are marked sold yesterday.
Yep.
And without somebody having to write each one of those every single day.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, it makes a big, big difference. And you do that because there you get a lot of those automated reports that pop up, and they're similar stuff to that, segmentation reports, those kind of things that pop in there.
And if you think about the hours it takes to do that, those hours, imagine if you could spend that time making decisions with data, with insight, versus being an Excel, junkie. That's what it comes into play. And it unlocks that for everybody in the dealership. Yep. Store managers can see that, salespeople can see who they need to call on this month. It just comes down to use the information instead of spending your time putting it together and, entering data. Yep. It's flipped it on its head.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So we talked about spreadsheets. We've seen that, tables and all the different stuff that come in there. How are you using this to consolidate your customer inventory data? I mean, how's that look?
Yeah, inventory, we put it right in the name.
Yep.
That when you look at what the business system knows about that piece of equipment, and then, okay, well, what does your quoting system know about that piece of equipment? What does your advertising system know about that piece of equipment? How many times have you emailed that out or shared the pricing with it? All the activity on that piece of equipment as well. That's what the consolidation here in CRMI and Dealer Connect CRMI does for you, that you get that single pane of glass for that piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. So what's your cost into it? What are the options? Well, how many times has it been quoted over the past 30 days? When we were doing inventory reviews and something got some age on it, not as big of an issue right now in the industry, but it still is. The first question we always had was, well, have we quoted it to anybody? What Dealer Connect tells you just right on the screen is it's been quoted 4 times. The last one was created 2 months ago, and the last one was edited 3 weeks ago.
Right.
That's valuable information, because the opposite of that is true. That we've had the machine for 6 months. Nobody's ever quoted it.
Right.
It's time for it to move down the road.
Yep.
And that's what the inventory system does. It's targeted towards salespeople. Mm-hmm. It's got an inventory search screen. You can find in a few seconds which utility vehicle do you have with these tires and this color? And very fast, put it right on a quote. To the other side of it is from a management level, you can see the activity going on. What do you have? To people in the used equipment role that are looking at what needs to go down the road and such, that those types of reviews can be happening and everybody can see what's going on. You can see quoting activity. It just really changes the game. We had a dealer recently expand, and they grew by 150%. And they are doing a large number of evaluations every month, 4 digits, and they are doing it with 1.5 people.
It's busy.
And they're able to do it because of the way this system presents them what they need to know to make those calls, versus the 4 screens and the 3 clicks and the searching over to here and then go looking at a spreadsheet. That's the type of savings in the ROI that getting a good modern platform that was built this century gives you. And that's what Dealer Connect CRMI is all about.
So you brought up a good one there. So you got inventory data. How easy is it to search if I want to go out and scout a customer and see what they have on their farm already? Assuming you have that information correct in the system, how easy is that to go through and do that?
The most popular feature we have in the system is a little bar right at the top of the screen, and it's the total search engine for that for the entire platform, and it's fast, and it's got artificial intelligence behind it. So when you're looking for a specific model, when you're looking for what a customer owns, it's just a search bar away, and that's where things like we have our saved inventory search, where you can come in and say, I want to run this search and tell me the next time a loader tractor comes in with this many hours in this price range. And you wake up that morning and in your inbox is, hey, we found something for you. And that's how we can make it easier from there. But if you're looking for folks who have a tractor in this range and this range of hours, the fact that we integrate into the business system automatically, those hours come in, what they own comes in automatically. You throw that analytics engine on top of there as well. So you got a standing report that shows you things that match that. And then what we're really proud about is, once you found the right things, you can create sales leads off of those as well. So if you're, the one we just finished up for a customer was, it was just recently planner EOP. And what we did, what they worked with and what our system allowed them to do was to go through what people own, find the right targets for trading, and create sales leads for their team that wasn't just email a spreadsheet. It was each salesperson gets an individual, here's a customer you need to call, here's their information, here's a piece of equipment they own, here's why we think it should be traded in. And then the team has a work list, has a marching orders that they can go out and work off of. And it's really effective when you can do that, and changes the game, really.
All right, last question. I think this is the one thing that when you talk about products like this, sometimes you get a version of it, and that's your choice. And then sometimes you get we're pretty pliable and we can make things happen as needed. I know you guys, and I know how Salesforce works, and I know those kind of things. So you have a lot of ability. I'm guessing here. You can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but you have a lot of ability to really customize this to fit each dealership, correct?
It is don't get us wrong. We're affordable Salesforce that's turnkey, and you can manage inventory and stuff right out of the box. But really, the key to adoption is being able to make it exactly the way your business runs. And that's where Salesforce does shine. So when we're talking automations or even fields on a page layout, or one example is, what do we search by? We're flexible from that standpoint. There's an edit, there's an admin screen. You have the rights to come in and change things for your instance only, and that nobody else has to have. And then the other thing that we did when we designed the business was, we wanted those great ideas that you come up with. We wanted you to be able to do them. We didn't want, I have this great idea for an automation or a way that we could incorporate this process, and okay, great, here's a big bill to make it happen. Now, with us, it's the support program says, work with your account manager, detail what you're trying to do. We know Salesforce and we know how the automations work, so we'll build that for you and launch it for you, put it into place, and it's just part of your monthly subscription. So when you have a example of, hey, this is really causing us problems, we need to work on this process, or we need this report built to make our life easier, we can do it for you. And it's baked in and it's rolled in. And that's where things really start to click when salespeople, those wizards I talked about, when they're not a trucking request that's generic,
right?
They're your trucking request. They're the way your department works. And that's what makes it work. Not when it's almost right and the rest has to be done by email. It's when it is right for you.
Right on. Okay. Well, Jason, I'm excited about your product here. I think you guys have something that's definitely going to be a fit for any dealership out there, man. So folks want to reach out to you and get more information about Anvil. What's the best way to do that?
It's just anvilappworks.com, and or you can email us at sales@anvilappworks.com, and we'll be happy to talk to you. There's also a schedule a demo right on the website there as well, or come see us at the summit, Moving Iron Summit, coming up in September of 2022. Yeah. We'll be there showing it off for everybody as well.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to it. And like I said, I'm appreciative of you guys partnering up with me here.
You're very welcome. We're excited as well.
Good deal. I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Make sure you check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Go to LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast and go to the video version of this on the YouTube channel, Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. Check that out. So with that, I am Casey Seymour with Jason Holt. Move some iron, folks. Out.
Cool.
Moving iron in the 21st century.